A ruthless simplifier, Newton strikes at the fundamentals. He uncovers how mass interacts with force, inertia, and acceleration. But his greatest insight is to define gravity. He is the first to call gravity a force acting at a distance. And through breathtaking mathematical breakthroughs, Newton lays out the precise laws that determine the motion of all objects. Newton has completed Galileo's quest to mathematize motion. But over 200 years later, another arrogant rebel will discover that at very high speeds, Newton's laws fail. And the universe is stranger than anyone ever imagined. At the age of 16, Albert Einstein asks a simple question. What would happen if he ran as fast as a wave of light? Would the light wave appear to stand still? When he returns to this image less than 10 years later, he will revolutionize our understanding of space and time.
He loved to imagine worlds that didn't exist. That was his power, the power that he could see things physically in a picture, things that other people couldn't see.
The man who makes these breakthroughs is an absent-minded professor, a twinkle-eyed lover of humanity. But he's also selfish, has 2 failed marriages, and confesses himself an emotional failure. Albert Einstein is born in 1879 in southern Germany to middle-class Jewish parents. As a child, he is quiet and withdrawn.
His parents began to think maybe he was retarded because it took so long before he began to speak. But he was just busy thinking, apparently.
As a young boy, he is fascinated by puzzles and games and shows remarkable perseverance. At age 9, he builds a tower of cards 14 stories high.
By all accounts, Einstein as a child was a nerd. And as a consequence, the other kids would make fun of him. He was apart. He lived in the world of books, the world of ideas.
In 1896, the 17-year-old Einstein wins admission to the ETH, the MIT of Switzerland. Like Galileo, he is witty and sharp, with a sense of humor, and is also a rebel. Einstein has resolved to become a theoretical physicist, but he feels stymied. His physics professor, Herr Weber, has no interest in the latest cutting-edge theories of light and electricity. He passes his exams only by borrowing a friend's class notes and graduates with unexceptional grades. His behavior has not gone unnoticed. All of Einstein's applications for jobs at universities are rejected.
After Einstein graduated from the university, he became a loser in every sense of the word. His professor, Weber, actively disliked the young Einstein. He wrote letters of recommendation, which we now know undermined his chance at any kind of academic appointment. Even before he became a physicist, his life as a physicist was over.
Two years after leaving university, Einstein finally finds a job as a clerk in a Swiss patent office. His work is far removed from theoretical physics, but this seemingly dead-end job will be his salvation. In Bern, the 23-year-old clerk quickly settles into a bourgeois existence. He marries Mileva Maric, a fellow student from the university. Luckily, his job is undemanding enough that he can steal time to grapple with cutting-edge questions in physics, such as the nature of light.
Others in such circumstances would have just thrown in the towel and would have given up on a career in physics. You get the sense that this is someone who just was possessed by an intellectual demon and couldn't do other than what he did.
Now Einstein returns to a simple image he first imagined in high school. What would happen if he ran as fast as a wave of light?
Both Isaac Newton and Einstein shared this uncanny ability to create simple pictures that children could understand and extract from that images which changed the universe.
According to Newton, the speed of a light beam should appear slower to someone who runs alongside it. But light does not seem to obey Newton's laws.
Einstein says the light beam moves away from you at the speed of light no matter how fast you move. You can never catch up the light beam. You hit the accelerator, you gun the engine, the light beam still moves away from you at the same rate. How's that possible? How's it possible you can never catch up to a light beam?
Now, like Galileo and Newton before him, Einstein ruthlessly questions assumptions that no one else dares. If the speed of light never changes, then something else must give.
Then he had it. Time is relative. Time is relative to the speed at which you move. And that idea shook the universe.
Einstein has discovered that Newton's laws only hold true for the world of everyday experience. When objects travel at speeds close to the speed of light, common sense breaks down, distances stretch, and clocks tick more slowly. Newton, forgive me, Einstein writes later. At the age of just 26, he topples Newton's laws of motion with his theory of special relativity. With childlike questions and simple pictures, Einstein changed the world. In 1907, Einstein turns to new scientific challenges. But newly published letters reveal a little-known personal side. As he creates his greatest work, he will withdraw within himself, and those closest to him will suffer. Einstein's wife, Mileva, was once a physics student who dreamed of her own scientific achievements. But now, as Einstein lectures and collaborates with others, Mileva hardly sees him. She fears she is losing both her husband and her dream. Then, in 1914, Mileva discovers that she has a romantic rival, Elsa Lowenthal, Einstein's cousin. Einstein's marriage falls apart.
You know, I'd love to have a beer with Einstein, but I wouldn't introduce him to my sister. There was a sense where the rules didn't necessarily have to apply to him.
Einstein will marry Elsa, who's willing to keep house for him with fewer expectations. He's given up on love in marriage. His science comes before all else. By age 35, Einstein is pursuing a goal many physicists believe is impossible. His intuition tells him that there must be a more general theory of relativity that also explains the force of gravity. Like Newton, Einstein is obsessed. For years, he grapples with mathematics of horrendous complexity, unsure whether he is on the right path or a fool's errand.